Good morning, Team Weather Shield. Jim here, coming to you from the International Roofing Expo this morning. Andy and I are here to hopefully learn some new best practices, some things we can take home to help us get better every day. And this is one of the ways we live that out as a leadership team, is by investing in things like this. And talking about getting better every day, I want to talk this morning about a core behavior that goes along with that core value. And today's core behavior, I just love. It is edit your life frequently. Edit your life frequently. Tom Watson was the founder of IBM. And he had a saying that I just love. He said, every day we came to work and we looked at where we are, where we were, and where we wanted to be, and we exercised our will to make up the difference. I think that's what life should be like. I think that should be a requisite for every person as an individual and for every company, to look at where we are and where we want to be and exercise our will to make up the difference. That exercising process is an editing process. I do a fair amount of public speaking, public presenting, and one of the things I have learned is when you prepare what you're going to speak about and you make an outline or you write that out, the editing is where it becomes powerful. In other words, you write it and then you go back and you fine tune it and you tweak it and you make little improvements and you find a better way to say something. You find a more clear way to present something. And in the edits is where a talk goes from good to great. Life is like that. In the editing is where it goes from good to great. So I want to tell you a little story that Jesus told. There were 3 men, and there was a master, and the master had these 3 men as servants, and to each man he gave a different number of talents. To one he gave 10, to one he gave 5, to one he gave 2. Now, in the ancient world, a talent was a measure of money, but I don't think that's an accident, that it happens to be the same word that we use in our language for talents, for gifts. To one he gave 10, to one he gave 5, to one he gave 2, and he sent them off with the expectation that they would invest that and come back and bring him a return. The first man who he gave 10 talents to came back and said, Master, you gave me 10. See, I've made 10 more. And he said, well done, my faithful servant. The one with 5 talents did the same thing. Master, you gave me 5. I brought you 5 more. And he said, well done, my faithful servant. The servant to whom he had given 2 came back and said, I was fearful, so I took the 2 and I buried them in the ground. Here they are back to you. And he said, you wicked, lazy servant. You should have at least put the money on deposit so that you could have brought it back with interest. I think there are a lot of people in this world who bury their talents. They fail to develop. They fail to edit their life. And what I would say is, my observation is that many people, maybe even most people, sleepwalk through life. They're just kind of morphing through life, carried along, almost like they're in the middle of a crowd, and the crowd is just kind of shouldering them along. And they're not really thinking about where they're going or how they're getting there. There's no intentionality, there's no purposefulness. They just kind of drift along with the current of the crowd. And I think that kind of sleepwalking characterizes what most people do. And that also characterizes what ends up to be a mediocre life for many people. Editing your life frequently, looking at where you are and where you want to be, and making the edits, making the small tweaks, the small changes every day to help exercise your will to make up the difference is where I believe the magic is. And it's also where the fun is, the enjoyment is, and it's where the reward is. So this week, I want you to think about, how are you editing your life frequently? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And what are the edits that you need to make in your behaviors, in your thoughts, to help move you to where you want to be? Because you are a work in progress or not. And it's up to you which one. Think about that this week as you think to edit your life. Have a great week.